Let's turn our attention to Russia now, where today the country's parliament will have the first reading on a bill considering the suspension of the INF Treaty. Signed in 1987, the Intermediate Range Nuclear Forces Treaty required the United States and the former Soviet Union to eliminate all of their nuclear and conventional ground-launched ballistic and cruise missiles with ranges of 500 to 5,500 kilometers. US allies in Europe are debating whether Russia's alleged violations to the agreement would warrant a countermeasure, such as the deployment of an equivalent American missile system in Europe. By way of example, that means that missiles launched from the center of Europe could reach as far as the eastern coast of North America or deep into Russia. Well, to discuss this further, I'm joined now by Ian Lesser, who's the Vice President of the German Marshall Fund think tank. Well, thanks for taking time to speak to us here on Good Morning Europe. If Russia does pull out of this treaty, what could be the consequences for Europe?
Well, I think it will just reinforce a concern that exists in many places in Europe that the nuclear element is coming back into European security. And of course, that's happening at a time when the relationship with Russia shows no signs of getting any calmer. And this is something that's a tough debate in NATO. There are countries like Poland and the Baltic states that feel this threat very keenly. But even for others, in Germany, for example, or in France or Italy, I think many people felt that this sort of nuclear element is something that goes back to the Cold War and had been eliminated from the European scene, and of course it's coming back in many ways. So I think that's the underlying anxiety.
Well, as you pointed out there, the relationship between the USA and Moscow has been extremely strained in recent times. So do you think we are effectively seeing the re-emergence of a Cold War now?
Well, I'm not sure I would go quite as far as that, but I would say that many aspects that we had not had to think about for many, many years that have to do with arms control and the role of nuclear weapons and strategy generally are coming back in ways that are going to make a lot of people uncomfortable. I mean, the truth is that many of these arms control agreements, as you say, they date to the 1980s, even before that, haven't been revisited in many, many years, and a lot has happened in that time. China has developed a substantial nuclear arsenal. There are new nuclear weapon states. So I think actually both Russia and the United States and Europe share the concern of how you update these treaties without losing them. And I think that's the key challenge that we face now.
Hey, Shalom. All praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone, and salutations to you Akim out there that's pushing this world in truth and in sincerity. We just finished watching a video about will the nuclear threat return to Europe if Russia pull out of the international medium range missile treaty that was established with Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan in 1987. Actually, it's called the Intermediate Nuclear Force Treaty that was established in 1987 by Mikhail Gorbachev and Ronald Reagan. But Donald Trump, through the orders of the international bankers, starting with the Rothschilds, pulled out of that nuclear force treaty, and it forced a new arms race, because right after they pulled out of the nuclear arms treaty, Russia started developing hypersonic and supersonic nuclear missiles, as well as China. And that, like I said, produced another arms race. And that's this prophecy, because Donald Trump may well be that king of Babylon during his reign, where Babylon be destroyed, man, by thermonuclear destruction, pursuant to Jeremiah, the 50th chapter, the 9th verse, when the Most High have that assembly of great nations come up against America, as well as their counterpart Israel. You see what I'm saying? So these missiles will fly, and it's prophecy. And NATO was a project of the United States government after World War II to combat the power of the USSR at that time. They was called the United Socialist Soviet or United Soviet Socialist Republic, something like that. The USSR, the United Russian, the United Socialist. It's called United Slovakia, the United Socialist or the United Soviet Socialist Republic, something like that. USSR, man. That was originally created to combat the Russian government, man, during the time of the Cold War. And they all came under the umbrella of the United States government because the United States government had the most nuclear capabilities and the most nuclear stockpile, man, during that time, man. Then eventually Germany acquired nuclear missiles. Great Britain acquired nuclear missiles, as well as France. They acquired nuclear missiles. Now you have China. They have nuclear missiles. Pakistan, India, North Korea, Iran. So these nations have nuclear weapons, man. And that's why Esau, the so-called white man, had become small amongst the heathen, because all these nations have nuclear capabilities that's able to destroy the United States government, as well as the United States government able to destroy them, man. And that's why it's prophecy that America is going to be destroyed right along with Israel and certain parts of Russia and certain parts of China, Iran, North Korea, so forth and so on. This is Isaiah. This is Slack. This is 2nd Ezra, chapter 16, verse 12. The earth quickeneth, and the foundation thereof. The sea ariseth up with the waves from the deep, and the waves of it are troubled, and the fishes thereof also. The Lord, before the Lord, and before the glory of his power. Because the glory of the Most High's power, first and foremost, is them nuclear missiles and them chariots, man. With that concentrated laser beam, that concentrated fire from them laser beams. That's the glory of the Most High, man. The nuclear missiles and them chariots, man. That's going to destroy America and Israel. It says, verse 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. Now, them bow was them nuclear silos that hold the ICBM nuclear missile. If you can Google a silo, nuclear silo, is going to show you a big ass hole that's holding the ICBM missile in place, man, intact, until it's launched. That's the bow. And the arrow is going to explain it. It says, back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp, and shall not miss when they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth. Now, them arrows represent them ICBM nuclear missiles. And it says, and read it again, his arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss. Why? Because they're going to be laser guided. Also, the spirit of Yahweh Shah is going to be upon them missiles, man. And them missiles hold nothing but pure fire. And the Most High Yahweh Shah is pure energy, pure fire, man. Energy, man. So the Lord's going to guide the missiles to hit their designated targets. And they're not going to miss. It says, back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 13, for strong is his right hand that bendeth the bow. His arrows that he shooteth are sharp and shall not miss, because they're going to be laser guided and spiritually guided by Yahweh Shah. They hit their targets. When they begin to be shot from the ends of the earth, from the world, from the northern part of the world, which is Russia, China, to the eastern part, where it's like from the east, Russia, the northern part, and the east over there in that atmosphere, they're going to shoot off missiles from the west. It's going to be missiles from the west to the east. And it's going to create a big turmoil where the earth is going to rock to and fro like a drunkard, like it's spoken about in Isaiah the 21st chapter, man. Isaiah the 24th verse 21, man. Where the earth is going to roll to and fro like a drunkard. And to tell you in 2nd Ezra 16 and 12, the earth quaketh and the foundation thereof, how the earth is going to quake, it's going to be rocking to and fro, man. The foundation of the earth is going to be broken through them thermonuclear missiles. So back in Isaiah, I keep on saying Isaiah. Isaiah's on my mind. Back in 2nd Ezra 16, verse 13. For strong is his right hand. Whose right hand? Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah's right hand that bent up the bow. But the bow is a nuclear silo that holds the arrow. His arrow, which is the ICBM nuclear missile, that he shooteth for sharp and shall not miss, because it's going to be laser guided and spiritually guided by Yahweh Shah. When they begin to be shot into the ends of the earth, from the east to the west, from the west to the east. That's the thermonuclear destruction. That's what's going to make the earth rock to and fro. Israel's going to be totally destroyed. The land of America is going to be totally destroyed. Certain parts of Russia, Tehran, Hong Kong, Beijing, whatever, is going to be destroyed, man. Certain parts. Because missiles are going to be shot off from one end of the earth, from the east to the west, from the west to the east, man. So we at the end of Esau's rulership. And it says, verse 14, behold, the plagues are sent and shall not return again until they come upon the earth. Now, what is them plagues? Them plagues is talking about not only thermonuclear destruction, but that's the ultimate plague, but it's talking about diseases, famine, uprising of the people, fires, death, and destruction, man. That's also plagues, man. But the ultimate plague is going to be thermonuclear destruction. And this is Zechariah chapter 14, verse 12. And this shall be the plague wherewith the Lord Yahweh will smite all the people that have fought against Jerusalem. That plague is thermonuclear destruction. Listen to this. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet. The best illustration of that is Sarah Connor in Terminator 2, when she had that dream about thermonuclear destruction. You saw how her flesh consumed away while she was standing upon her feet. The only instrument that can do that is thermonuclear missiles, man. ICBM, hypersonic, and supersonic missiles. It says, their flesh shall consume away while they stand upon their feet, and their eyes shall consume away in their holes. That's twofold. Talking about Esau's future endeavors, what he planning on doing in 2050, 2060. Also, was literally their eyes are going to consume away while they stand upon their feet, man. It says, and their tongues shall consume away in their mouth. That's their prophecies. That's their philosophies. Also twofold. Their philosophies, their agenda. Also, their tongue is going to definitely cleave away. Their tongue is going to consume away in their mouth, man. Through thermonuclear destruction. Also, their philosophies, man, that they pushing. It's going to consume it right along with them red bastards, man. So you can't get around that. You can't get around that. Esau's kingdom is coming to an abrupt end, man. And that's how it is, man. It says, and their tongue shall consume away in their mouth. Talking about their philosophy, like I said, their philosophies, man. So that's the plague. Thermonuclear destruction that's mentioned in Zechariah, the 14th chapter, the 12th verse. This is back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 14. Behold, the plagues are sent. Now we know what the plagues are. Pursuant to Zechariah the 14th chapter, the 12th verse. And shall not return again until they come upon the earth. The fire is kindled, which is them thermonuclear missiles, and should not be put out till they consume the foundation of the earth, man. That's them nuclear missiles. like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer. Now, mighty archer of Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah, returneth not backward, even so the plagues, starting with the famine, the pestilence, the race riots, the race wars, death and destruction, and ultimately, thermonuclear destruction. That's the plagues, man. That should be sent upon the earth. And read it again. Back in 2nd Ezra chapter 16, verse 16, it says, like as an arrow which is shot of a mighty archer, the mighty archer is Yahweh, why Yahweh Shah, returneth not backward, even so the plagues that shall be sent upon earth shall not return again. And them plagues that's going to be sent upon the earth, like I mentioned, is the pestilence, the famine, ultimately thermonuclear destruction. We almost out this bitch. We're at the end of the age of Esau, the so-called white man. His rulership is coming to an abrupt end. So with that, I'm going to close it out. And I'm going to give all praises to Yahweh, Bahashem, Yahweh Shah, Bahashem, Rakah Kwadash, and double honors to the apostles and elders of Great Millstone. And with that, Shalom.